You're the backbone of every fighting force. You're the front lines, you're the grunts, and you get the job done. You may not be able to hit the broadside of a moisture farm, but only imperial stormtroopers can be so precise. Activate that Vanguard. We're running at the assault class in Star Wars Battlefront 2. Welcome back. The Assault class can be adjusted to fit any playstyle in Star Wars Battlefront 2. Are you super aggressive? You have the CR2. Are you a ranged player? You have the A280 and the EL16HFE. Are you into immersion? Well, the default weapons are the most recognizable in the game. Everyone can find something that they love about the Assault, and today we're going to do a quick summary of the weapons, abilities, cards to run, and cards you should stay away from. At the end, we'll just go over some quick thoughts of the class as a whole. But before we dive in, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button to let me know. Then hit the subscribe and notification button so you know when new videos come out. And remember to join us on the streams for Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8 p.m. Central. Be sure to check out our friends at StarWarsGaming.net. They're a great site that'll keep you informed on everything going on in Star Wars Battlefront 2 without having to watch your Twitter feed 24 hours a day. And really, they're a great resource for the Star Wars Battlefront 2 community. There's a link in the description down below, or you can just type out StarWarsGaming.net. Let's start with weapons. If you're looking for more information for each individual weapon, there's a link in the corner of your screen now for the Blasters Breakdown playlist, so be sure to check that out. Here we're just going to compare the damages so you know what you're going up against and running. The chart that will be coming up just has the base weapons. I didn't add the attachments that affect damage, but we'll cover them, so just listen up if you're looking for that. If you're looking for the highest damage per rounding class, look no further than the EL16HFE. It'll deal 49 damage per round at close range and drops down to 30 at long. You can attach the improved range attachment, which increases the long range damage to 37 per round, and this attachment reduces the number of rounds you need to kill at range by 1. So it's worth running if you're a long range player. It's important to note here though that the EL16HFE fires at a snail's pace and the blaster bolts seem to travel really slow as well. So you'll need to lead a bit if you're trying to hit that moving target. The second highest damage in class goes to the standard starter weapon. The starting weapons all have the same stats, so regardless of the era, if you like one, you'll like the rest. And at close range, it'll deal 36 damage per round and then drops down to 19 at long. This is the highest drop off in class as well, so it's rather inconsistent and it's best used for medium range. It's not a bad weapon, and personally I think it's the best weapon if you're just starting out, since it's far easier to use than the other classes' starting weapons. Third, we have the A280, and it's important to note that the Rebellion starting weapon is the A280C, so don't get confused if you're playing on an original trilogy map. The A280 is the only burst fire weapon in class and fires off of 3 rounds with each pull of the trigger. If you're coming over from the Specialist, the 3 rounds do not fire as fast as the A280 CFE, so that'll take a little bit of getting used to. The A280 does 33 damage per round at close range and drops to 19 at long. This weapon also has the improved range attachment. It'll increase the long range damage for the A280 to 26. Obviously, you're going to want to run that since it'll drop the number of rounds it takes to kill at range. Now at the bottom of the pack in damage per round is my personal favorite, the CR2. This weapon is not so much a rifle but more of an SMG. It has the fastest rate of fire in the game and it dominates at close range. It can hold its own in most medium range fights as well. When you push long range though, you might as well just try to emote the enemy to death because it's going to do about the same amount of damage. The CR2 at close range does a grand total of 16 damage per round and a whopping 8 damage per round at long range. If you really want to hate your life, you can toss on the ion shot and deal 14 damage per round at close range and 7 at long range, and while this may sound bad, you get 50 rounds before you're forced to cool with this weapon, and the rate of fire offsets the damage at close to medium range. If you're looking to run the best weapon at medium to long range, probably the majority of players are going to be running the A280. While it's not my favorite weapon, and I prefer the A280 CFE over the base A280, it can drop people quick if you land your shots. It can also do well at close range, and in worst case scenario, you can always bust out the Vanguard. Now if you're like me and you're super reckless, where it's all about getting in the enemy's face and then eventually getting massacred by their 4 friends, the CR2 is the way to go. You can run and gun like a madman and just melt people at close range. Now you'll most likely die a lot, but it sure sure is fun. To go along with the really good weapon choices, the Assault class also has some of the more powerful abilities in the game. The default abilities will do well if you want to use all of your cards for passive buffs, and we're going to start with the left-hand ability, which is the Thermal Detonator. The Thermal Detonator is one of the strongest grenades in terms of killing power. I think only the Thermal Imploder is more lethal. You can use cards to increase its blast radius as well, and I generally will run that in Blast or Strike, where battle points don't really matter so much. The Scan Dart, which is your right ability, is also great if you're more of a passive player and you want to know who's coming up around a corner, although it is really short-lived and there is a card that you can run to increase the time, but I wouldn't recommend it, and we'll get into why later. And the default Vanguard is super strong, and like the Infiltration, it lasts longer than the other variations. Now if you're looking to change the class up a bit though, there are some cards you can start running that are pretty strong to put in place of the default abilities, and you can change up the class to fit your playstyle pretty easily with these cards. For the left ability, the Thermal Imploder, instead you can run the Ion Grenade. This is great if you're facing the Officer Army or Heavies, since it will one-shot turrets and cause them to explode, and since officers never really stray too far from their pets, this may net you a few extra kills, but it definitely helps clear the way for your friends to advance. If you got a lot of Heavies, it'll destroy the shield they can put up in their turrets as well. If a Heavy puts up the shield when you toss this at them, they'll die, and it's pretty sweet. One thing I did notice is to be careful on your angles when you throw this. When you toss it too much at an arc, it seems to go off well before it hits where you want it to go, even at epic level with the improved fuse time. Now I'm not sure if it was a bug and maybe it's just me, but it was happening to me all the time on Yavin, this might be something that you just want to look out for. When you look at the right ability, which is the Scan Dart, you have two really great options here. First, you have my favorite, which is Toughen Up, and this will replenish your life even in a fight. I found it's best to activate before you get into a fight, that way I'm automatically refreshing the health when I take a shot. The more it's upgraded, the faster the cooldown, so you can keep this thing running for days, especially if you're running resourcefulness with it, but be careful not to roll after turning it on, since once you turn it on, if you roll right away, it won't activate, and you might end up throwing your controller at the wall when you die. This card is the one that I always run with the survivability build. If you're more of a medium to long range player, you may not need the extra life that Toughen Up gives you. For you, we have the Flash Pistol. This thing is basically a primary weapon and can blind enemies with an alternate fire. The rate of fire on it isn't too shabby either, and if you're looking for a good secondary weapon, here you go. There is no cooldown on it, so you can overheat your primary, switch to this and keep the fight going and repeat. You'll never have to take a break, and you can always put rounds down range if you're running the Flash Pistol. The Flash will also blind the enemy no matter where you hit them on the body, so even if you're coming up behind somebody and you shoot them in the back with the alternate fire, they'll still be blinded for a short period of time. When we get to Vanguard, I don't really run anything to change it, but if you're a CR2 player like myself, I have found it nice sometimes to have the Slug Vanguard as an option to take care of players at range. It is a little bit clunky, but it can get the job done if you're in a pinch. Otherwise, I just leave Vanguard alone. The Recharge Vanguard is pretty good, but that's mainly if you're looking to grenade spam, since it'll refresh your grenade on every kill. For your non-ability cards, you have Assault Training, and this card is a must. It's a health back on kill, and if you're taking on multiple enemies, it can mean the difference between life and death. Each kill will net you some health, which will help keep you alive a little bit longer. This is also part of my survivability build. Now, if heroes and battle points are your game, you can always run the Bounty Hunter. It's never really a bad choice in Galactic Assault. Granted, it's not too much of a go-to for me as an assault since there's so many options out there for you, but it's there if you need it. For cards never to run, I can really only think of two that are just worthless. First, we have the improved Scan Dart. This card increases the time that Scan Dart is active, but why would you really need that? There are so many better options out there for you to use that using this in a card slot is just kind of a waste. And the second one is the Killstreak Vanguard. This is for the same reason not to run Killstreak Infiltration. It reduces the time that Vanguard is active by default, but extends it on kills. In order to get the same amount of time you would with the default Vanguard, you need to get 2 kills with this Killstreak Vanguard, and that's just breaking even. How many times do you go on a Vanguard kill streak where you get 4 kills that would make this worth it? Again, there are better options out there, and while we're at it, I'm going to go ahead and put the Acid Launcher on here, mainly because the other 2 cards that you can use in the left-hand options are far more deadly and more utility-oriented. This card is just kind of redundant, and the Thermal Imploder gets the job done better. I've never been stopped running through a doorway or down some stairs because I saw some acid launcher there. I usually just run through it and then kill whoever's standing there. Overall, I really love the Assault class. If I actually liked myself, I would probably play Assault over Specialist, but I like the challenge less life brings, and when I run the Assault, I run the CR2 because I'm reckless, and with Toughen Up, Assault training, and usually the Ion Grenade or improved Thermal Detonator. If I'm feeling a little frisky, I'll put on the Slug Vanguard for maps like Kashyyyk, but I really try not to play that map, so if you're looking for a class to love that's not the Officer, this is probably your best option since it can fit anyone's playstyle. Thank you all for watching, and as always, I will see you in game.